that are here to support us in our journey. And so today
I welcome each one of you to Pyramid Times session today, Power of the Dark Goddess. With this, I would like to have a brief introduction about Pyramid Times. Pyramid Times is an organization spreading New Age spirituality, enlightened entrepreneurship, and leadership wisdom. These are the three pillars on which we are building the platform. Going forward, we'll be coming up with a lot many webinars and programs, paid courses on this platform. And today we have very special topic. It relates to Indian origin. The topic is the power of the dark goddess. And Purandev Kaur is our speaker for today. She has been a best-selling author, a speaker, a thought leader, and also channel who helps people answer life's biggest questions. Her book, Ali and Me, The Integration of Spirit and Form, offers poignant insight into healing and the afterlife. Through her online courses and various community platforms, she helps people connect to the spirit world, to heal grief, live their lives true purpose, and also create what they like in their life. So that is the beauty of Purandev, and today she will be discussing how we have the capacity to communicate to the other world. Many in everyone's family, one or the other, they have lost. It could be sister, it could be parents, it could be spouse sometimes, it could be sometimes even children. And we never understand why they were there for that short span of time. So all these things will be understood going through Purandev's talk today. You can as well communicate to your loved ones very dearly, very profoundly, which she will be taking us through. And with this, I welcome Purandev Kaur to the show and take over the session. Thank you, Purandev, for joining us today. A warm welcome from all of us from Pyramid Times.
Hi, everyone. It is so wonderful to be here with all of you today. I'm just so excited to be joining you. Thank you so much, Veena, for that introduction. Thank you to Pyramid Times for hosting me. Really excited to be here talking about the power of the dark goddess with you all today. And thank you for joining. So I am the best-selling author of the book Ali and Me, The Integration of Spirit and Form, which came out in September of this year. I'm also a yoga teacher. My background is vinyasa, but I also teach Kundalini yoga, and I'm a channel. And so today I wanted to talk to all of you about the power of the dark goddess, but also the power that we have to connect with the spirit world, to connect to the world beyond the veil, or Maya, as it's called in Hinduism. And this is a big part of my work. So a big part of the work that I do is I support people in learning how to connect beyond the veil. And when we're connecting beyond the veil, we could be connecting with someone that we love that has passed on, or we could be connecting to other beings who exist beyond the veil, such as Kali Ma, such as other goddesses that are here to support us in our journey. And so today I want to share a little bit about my personal journey of healing and my experience of learning how to connect with my sister beyond the veil. And then I'll talk a little bit about how we can connect with beings like Kali Ma. And we'll go through an exercise to actually lead you through a process where you can experience that connection with Kali. So again, thank you all so much for being here with me. And I'm just going to start by talking a little bit about my journey. So my healing journey began about 5 years ago when I lost my sister, Allie. And my sister was 20 years old at the time, and she passed away suddenly in a hiking accident in New Zealand. And this was a very difficult, traumatic experience for me and my family to go through. I come from a very close family. My sister and I were, and still are actually, very close. And so she passed away very suddenly. And after she passed away, she started coming to me. And she started coming to me from beyond the veil, right? So I would hear her talking to me as clearly as I'm talking to you right now. I would see her at times in my mind's eye, and I would feel her presence with me. And she would talk to me, and a lot of times she would assure me that she was okay, more than okay, actually. She was in complete bliss and the deepest peace possible. And she came to me to comfort me a lot in my grieving process. So eventually, one of the things that Allie told me was that we would be writing a book together. So Allie really wanted people to know a couple different things. First of all, she really wanted people to understand that there really wasn't anything to fear about the dying process. It's about death. And we live in a culture in a world that actually really teaches us to fear death, right? Especially here in the US, there's a lot of fear of that. There's a lot of fear of the unknown, which is really what dying is. It's going into the unknown, right? And it's the death of our ego. And so there's nothing more that the ego fears than the dying process. So one of the things that Allie really wanted to tell people in this book was that there is nothing to fear about the dying process. So in the first part of the book, I'm talking about my grieving process and the spiritual lessons that I learned that helped me to heal. And in the second part of the book, Allie is she gives us really valuable information about the afterlife and what happens to our souls after we pass away. So here's a copy of the book here, and I'm going to be reading some passages from it in a few minutes. But Allie talked about how our souls are eternal and we never really die. These bodies change, right? But our essence, our soul, our spirit continues on. And Allie talked about how it was a journey. It's a journey that we take. We take this journey into these human bodies as we incarnate. And then we have the journey of life right? With all of the different experiences it brings to us. And then it's the journey back beyond the veil, back into the spirit realm, which Ali talked about a lot in the book. Even though our minds oftentimes do not remember the spirit world, our hearts know it. Our hearts remember its essence. And the spirit world is a place of pure love and bliss and connection and flow. And so that was a really big reason that Ali wanted to write this book with me, was to share that message of comfort, and also to share information about how to heal from grief. You know, no matter what has happened to us in our lives, we have all experienced grief. Maybe it hasn't been in the form of losing someone really close to you, but undoubtedly, all of us have gone through life experiences that have brought us grief in some way. And so part of what this book also talks about is healing from grief. And one of the biggest things that has helped me to heal from grief is connecting beyond the veil, connecting to the spirit world. And remembering that connection is truly our true nature. So, another reason that I really wanted to write this book with Ali was to normalize the experience that many, many people have of connecting to the spirit world. So I grew up as a very sensitive child. I was very open to, you know, different energies, highly sensitive. And again, we live in a world that teaches us that this sensitivity is wrong or is bad in some way, or that we're flawed if we do see beyond the veil, right? And there's a lot of people who do, who have this innate sensitivity. So part of the other reason I wrote this book was because I wanted people who are really sensitive, who do see and sense things beyond the veil, to know that they're not alone. And also for people to know that anyone can learn to do this. This is not something that only special people can do, right? Everyone, I truly believe that everyone has the ability to connect with the world beyond the veil. And whether it's connecting to someone that you love that has passed, or whether it's connecting to an ascended master or someone like a goddess like Kali Ma, we can all learn to do this. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later as we go on. But right now, I want to continue talking about the book. So one of the passages I wanted to read to you guys was about the veil. So I'm actually going to read a passage from the book. This is early on in the book, and it's talking about the veil. With the thinning of the veil, spiritual truth and wisdom can more easily spill into the physical realm and filter into the collective consciousness of humanity. As a result, one of the most important spiritual truths that people are waking up to today is the realization that the world around us is nothing more than a holographic illusion. That is to say, the physical world that you glimpse with your two eyes is not the true reality. You may think of it as being the dream, and you are the dreamer. And I'm going to continue on for a moment here. If we define what is real around us simply by what we can see through our physical sensory system, then we are making a grave mistake. There exists a deeper reality beneath the one we can see with our physical eyes. And it is from this deeper reality that the physical world around us was born. We too were born from this unseen reality. And although we may have forgotten its existence, that does not mean that it is no longer there, or that we are not intimately connected to it. So again, just going back to this concept of the veil, and I'm definitely checking the chat box. So if anyone has questions or comments, please feel free to type them in there. This concept of the veil, we're living in some pretty profound times right now, and there is a profound awakening that is taking place on our planet. And part of what is happening is people are waking up and realizing that this veil exists, and people are waking up in unprecedented numbers right now and realizing that we have the capacity to reach beyond the veil. And actually, it's easier to do so right now than it really has been ever before, because things are happening so fast. So I want to continue on and read one more passage from my book here. And this is from a chapter that Allie, this is from Allie's chapter in the book, and she's talking about communication and visitation. And these are Allie's words as channeled from me. It is possible for you to call upon and connect with your loved ones at any time. This is because they are no longer limited to the physical constraints of a body. The limitations of time and space no longer apply to them when they're in spirit form, so your loved ones who have passed on. Therefore, they have the ability to come to your aid, to visit you and check up on you, and to provide you with guidance at any time throughout your life. So again, these are Allie's words, and she's telling us that, hey, even though your loved one isn't here in physical form anymore, even though you can't feel them and touch them and hear them in their physical body, you still have a relationship with them. Just because they pass on does not mean that your relationship with them ends. And this was one of the most profound realizations that helped me in my journey of healing through grief from losing my sister, was realizing I still have a sister. I may not see her in physical form, and as much as I want to hear her voice and talk to her, as much as I want to connect with her in that physical way, we are so connected still. And actually, one of the things that Allie said to me was that we're even connected more now, more so now, because she can be with me anytime because she's not limited to the constraints of a physical body, right? Is this making sense? She can be with me like that now, right? All I need to say is, hey, Allie, can you, help me with this? Or I want to talk to you now. And she's there because she's in her spirit form. So I want to skip to one more part in the book where Allie talks about how you can connect with your loved ones beyond the veil. So this is in the same chapter, Communication and Visitation. She says, everyone's experience is different. Because your individual constitution and vibrational frequency is completely unique and different from anyone else's on the planet, the way in which you will receive messages from the spirit world is different as well. Therefore, it makes little sense to compare your experiences to others or to hold expectations of your experience looking or happening in a certain way. Remain open and curious in your exploration. Allow it to be an exciting adventure of learning and discovery rather than becoming bogged down by what it should look and feel like. So here, Allie is basically saying, look, everyone is different and everyone is going to have a different way of connecting beyond the veil. And it doesn't do any good to compare yourself to anyone else because your way is completely unique to you. And she goes on to say, with that being said, it is helpful to understand the most common methods of communication with the spirit realm: sensing, hearing, seeing, feeling, and knowing. Do not close yourself off to any of these methods, but rather be open to all of them. It is likely that you will feel most comfortable with one or two particular methods, but you also may experience several different ways as you begin to open up communication. So everyone experiences this differently. And Allie actually does go through a process. She offers a process in the book that you can use to connect with your loved ones. And a lot of this also applies to connecting to other beings beyond the veil, like Kali Ma, like we're going to move into in a few minutes. But no matter how this comes to you, and it could be through, you might see a loved one in your mind's eye, you might hear their words, you might have a sense of knowing and feeling that they're with you, right? Like a lot of us have had this experience, feeling like the presence of a loved one is with you. You may receive a message from them in a dream. This happens really often. Oftentimes they'll come to us in our dreams. So no matter how it happens for you, it's perfect for you. And there's no comparison in any of this. What we're doing here is we're learning a new symbolic language. Beings who exist beyond the veil, they don't communicate with us in the same way that we communicate with each other in bodies, right? It's like it's a whole different language that they use. It's a symbolic language. And so sometimes it can take a little bit of time for us to learn that symbolic language. But it can be really fun, and it doesn't need to be something that's scary or difficult. It can take a little bit of patience and learning what works for you. But the things that we're talking about here and the things that Allie spoke about in the book are the same methods that we use to connect with goddesses beyond the veil, right? So like we're talking about Kali Ma today. So I'm going to use her as an example. To connect with Kali Ma, it's the same processes, right? You might see her in your mind's eye. You might feel her presence when you invoke her. You might receive a sign from her. Sometimes they give us synchronistic signs and things like that. So I want to talk a little bit about how to connect with these goddesses beyond the veil now. So everyone has different spirit guides, right? And your spirit guides are completely unique to you. The best way to tune into your spirit guides, I would say, and in my experience, and this is just what's worked for me, is if you have a meditation practice, or even if you don't, that's okay. I would recommend taking a few minutes in quiet meditation. It doesn't have to be anything super long or fancy, but I would recommend setting the intention as you go into meditation to connect with your spirit guides. So, it could be you sit down in your room for 5 minutes one day and just come into quiet, no interruptions, just focus on going within. And you can say, spirit guides, whoever you are, please connect with me. And be open to the different ways that your spirit guides could connect with you. You might receive something from them like that, like immediately. You might have a feeling of a presence of support and love around you. You might have a knowing, just like an inner knowing that your spirit guide is with you. You might know who your spirit guide is. Like maybe you sense your spirit guide is a loved one that's passed, or perhaps like an angel you feel. And you might also not know, and that's okay. But I would say the best way is really to just set the intention to connect with them and then be open to how that comes. And it could be, a few days later, you receive a sign from your spirit guide. It could be in a dream. So you just got to be open to all the different ways that can come to you. I connect with Isis so deeply. Yeah, what is it you want to know about Isis? Just to talk about her a little bit? Yeah. So Isis is a wonderful guide to invoke. She's another one of the dark goddesses. So today we're talking about Kali, but yes, Isis is also another dark goddess. Yeah, I see someone else really connects with her. She is an amazing mentor. So Isis is great to call on whenever you want help with your confidence level. Isis is great to call upon whenever you're working deeply on healing yourself. How we can connect. Yeah, so, it doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes I think we can overthink these things, right? And really, it can be very simple. If you feel called, you can buy a picture or a statue of Isis. I have one on my altar over here. And I'll just call upon her. I'll go into some deep meditation, or I'll send a prayer to her. Isis, can you please support me with this today? I really want to feel your presence around me, and I want to feel your wings surrounding me. These dark goddesses that we're talking about today, they help us to heal. They help us to go into the shadow aspect of ourselves, right? And the shadow is not a bad thing. And it's not something that we want to get rid of necessarily. It's something that we want to integrate with love. So all that the shadow is, all that the darkness is within us, is just those places that the light of love within us hasn't reached yet. That's all the shadow self is. It's just these parts of ourselves that we have deemed unworthy, or that we have deemed unlovable or not good enough in some way. And so when we're working with someone like a mentor like Isis or Kali, these dark goddesses, they are exceptional mentors for helping us to really heal our shadow self, and all those parts of ourselves that we fragmented, and bringing them back into wholeness. Shadow is not bad. Yes, absolutely not bad at all. It's just, we all have a shadow, right? And it's important to consciously be doing the work that we need to do to bring the shadow pieces of ourselves into the light. It's that simple, really. You can just ask them, Kali Ma, can you please help me with integrating my shadow? Can you please help me with this part of my life? The thing is, Kali Ma and Isis, these goddesses, they want to support us. They want to have a relationship with us. And this is part of what we're learning to understand as the consciousness of humanity really starts to evolve. Is like, we are co-creating not only our reality, but we're co-creating our relationships with these goddesses, right? And so this is something that is talked about in my book a little bit too. It's like, we're evolving out of this kind of one-dimensional relationship with the divine, and we're moving into a more multi-dimensional relationship where we realize that we're co-creating with Isis and we're co-creating with Kali, and they want to co-create with us. Like, they want to do that. That makes them happy, and they want to support us. So don't ever feel like you're not worthy of asking Isis or Kali for support, or whoever it is. So that's a really important thing to realize. The other thing to realize is when we call on these dark goddesses, especially in my experience, especially when I call upon Kali Ma, she's so fierce. She's the slayer of demons, right? She slays those demons, and not so much the demons, physical demons, but the demons of our ego and our mind. So when we're calling upon Kali Ma, and when we call upon Isis, it can be really intense sometimes, because those things that are no longer serving you in your life, those things that you've kind of been pushing to the side, or not really wanting to go there, or things that Kali Ma is going to lovingly bring up into your awareness. And so, yes, it can be intense. These are powerful beings. Kali Ma is very powerful. Isis is very powerful. That doesn't mean that we have to be afraid. It just means that it's helpful to have an understanding of what's happening, right? Like if you call on Kali and all of a sudden things start to get a little crazy in your life, or, you know, you're in your emotions, then you understand what's going on, right? And the thing about Kali and Isis and all the dark goddesses is they teach us about the fierce love of the mother. This is the fierce mother love. And, you know, a mother's love is not always tender and sweet. It can be really fierce as well. Yeah, so a question about past lives and working with Isis. You can absolutely call on Isis for past life work. That can be really, really powerful. I mean, there are many different ways to work with past lives. Like you can do guided meditations, you can do hypnosis. But if you want to call on Isis to help you with past lives, then just set the intention with her. And, you know, you can just say, Isis, please help me to heal, you know, this specific aspect of my past lives. And be open to how she's going to communicate with you in that symbolic language that we talked about. I did want to share one quote that I found about darkness, since we're talking about the dark goddess. I thought this was really beautiful. So the quote I found is, "I am not looking to escape my darkness. I am learning to love myself there." And I think as we're talking about Kali and as we're talking about Isis, that is what they help us to do. They help us learn to love ourselves with even with all of our darkness and all of our light. So I would love to lead us into a guided meditation to connect with Kali. And I hope that you enjoy this. I hope you really get something out of this, but I think we're ready to go into that now. So wherever you are, if you could just take a moment to find a comfortable seat and maybe close your eyes if that feels okay. I'm just starting to take a moment to ground into the support of the earth beneath you. Feeling the beautiful support of Mother Earth rising up to meet you. And taking a moment to just really come into your body. So coming into your physical body. And we'll do that by focusing on the breath. So let's take a deep, full breath in together. Going all the way up to the very top of the inhale. And then exhale, just sigh it out. Let it go. Let's do that again. Deep, full breath in. Fill, fill, fill. Exhale, empty. Yeah, sigh it out. Let's do one more of those cleansing breaths together. Inhale to fill up. And exhale to clear it out. Letting go of any stress or tension, any thoughts about what came before this moment or what's to come next, and really just giving yourself permission to be anchored, fully present in your body right now, into this experience, into this moment, as we collectively call upon Kali Ma. And we'll call upon her. She is our fierce mother. She is so powerful, so beautiful, such a powerful goddess to mentor us today, to be with us. And so just calling her and asking her to join us in this moment. And you may see, sense, or feel her. You might not, and either way is okay. Just be open. But you might feel her presence around you. You might just have the knowing that she's here with you. And I'm seeing her stepping forward and she's smiling. She is so powerful. And she has the deepest unconditional love for each and every one of us. And she's saying she has the fierce love of the mother. And she's saying any places within you that are still in the darkness or that you are struggling to heal, she's saying that she can step forward and support you in that. And so just feeling this beautiful connection with Kali Ma right now, just feeling her love for you, her unconditional support for you. She won't let you cut any corners, but she loves you. And she's stepping forward now, and she's asking your permission if she can give you an activation and a transmission today. And she's always going to ask your permission because she honors your free will. And you can say yes, you can say no, she has no judgment. So if you're willing and ready to receive this transmission from Kali Ma, you can just say silently or aloud yes. And as soon as you say yes, she is reaching out to your heart, and she is actually setting your heart on fire. But this is not a bad fire. This is a fire that purifies. This is a holy fire. This is the fire of divine wrath and transformation. And just feel your body soften and relax and open as this fire in your heart starts to purify your heart of any places of darkness, of any places of stagnation or fear, any places where you are doubting yourself, where you feel that you're not good enough, where you feel that you're not worthy enough, where you feel that you can't step into your divine purpose. Kali Ma is saying, let this fire purify your heart and burn away those places and purify you and cleanse you. And so she's saying, just take a deep breath in and a full breath out. And just, she's saying one more moment now to really let that fire of purification occur in your heart. So just bringing your attention and awareness into your heart center. Just noticing what you feel there without any judgment. And then finally, those flames begin to draw smaller and smaller until they just become little embers within your heart. And Kali Ma is still right in front of you. She's smiling at you. And when you look down at your heart now, when you sense your heart, it's filled with this, it's the most pure divine light. And your heart is filled with the peace of God, the peace of the divine, whatever you choose to call that. So just take a moment to really be present with your heart in this purified state. And Kali Ma is saying she wants everyone to take one more breath in. And full breath out. And she's saying, just let it go. Whatever it is that you've surrendered, that has been burned away, Kali Ma is saying, just surrender it. Let it go. Give it to her. You don't need to carry it anymore. And Kali Ma is now smiling at you again, and she is sealing this integration, this healing that you've received from her today. She's sealing that into your body and into your heart so that even when you get off this call and go into the rest of your night, that is sealed within your consciousness. And so we'll just say thank you to Kali Ma. Thank you so much for this healing. Thank you for being here with us. And Kali Ma is also saying she wants you to thank yourself for being willing to be here. And so she's stepping away now. She's leaving. She's going back up. And you can just stay present in your body, stay present in your heart. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And just take your time to come back from that. And I hope this was helpful to everyone. That's just an example of one way that we can work with Kali or Isis or whoever it is, whatever goddess it is, they're always here for us. They're always here to support us in unconditional love. Yes, Venus saying surrendering helped to lighten the body a lot. Yes, absolutely. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to take any more questions now or comments about if someone wants to share their experience of what it was like to connect with Kali Ma. There's no judgment at all in any of this. So,
and thank you so much for that wonderful meditation. And would you like to speak more about the upcoming course, what you will be offering in this upcoming course?
Yeah. So I am offering a course on December 21st. So it's on the winter solstice. And the winter solstice is going to be a very powerful portal this year for a lot of reasons. And so I'm offering a course called Power of the Dark Goddess, Harnessing the Winter Solstice for Transformation. So I'm co-leading this with another facilitator named Leah, and we're going to be working with Isis, Kali, and Sekhmet. And we're going to be doing a lot of movement, somatic movement, meditation, a lot like what we did here today with Kali, some journaling, a lot of experiential activities to help us use the portal of the solstice to release anything that's not serving us as we move into 2021. So that is a paid course. I think Veena has the links if you're interested. You can always reach out to me if you have any questions about it. But it's going to be very powerful with those three goddesses for sure.
Also, can you enlighten us why it is so special, especially this year, and the earth is going through a lot of transformation and there is a lot of work being done by many people like light workers and all these things?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean the winter solstice, it's the darkest, shortest day of the year, right? So it's really, I mean, and even as we're moving closer to the solstice now, like maybe you guys feel this. I know I feel it in my life. It's like all the darkness is coming up, and that's not a bad thing, but it's like as we move closer and closer to that portal of the winter solstice, it's like the energy is starting to get really intense. There's also a really potent astrological event happening. I think it might be happening a few days before the solstice. It's called the Great Conjunction. And I don't know a whole lot about astrology, but I do follow it a little bit. So I know there's some astrological events this year that are really supporting the winter solstice being a very transformational day.
That is awesome. And I would also like to highlight about your book. I have gone through the complete book and it is so very amazing. It literally shows the guidance from an enlightened master. So whoever is willing to explore on her book, it is present on the Amazon Kindle Unlimited. You can buy Ali and Me. Is the book name. It is very wonderfully written. Each line in the book is very connecting. This is the book I felt like reading again and again. It's so close to my soul. It's not even close. It's at one with whatever we feel inside. So it's so connecting, and everybody should take a chance to read this book also. And whoever is interested can go ahead and register for the upcoming program. Purandev is also a channeler. She also teaches many courses in channeling, and she did recently a couple of programs in light attunement. And currently the planet is undergoing a lot of changes, especially people who are attuning to the light and anchoring a lot of light onto this planet Earth are contributing a lot in its ascension process and many things. So you can please go and check out the book. I can type it in Ali and Me. Yeah. So that's a wonderful book. Everybody on this planet should read that kind of books. And I also remember you were coming up with another book, right, Purandev?
I haven't started writing another one yet, but there will be another one. Yes.
Yeah, we'll be delighted to
Thank you.
have.
Thank you so much for those kind words, Veena, about the book.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So you can get it on Amazon. Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I know that a lot of people feel that way. And that is something that I've talked about in some of my courses. And I work with Gaia and some of the Ascended Masters. And so the thing is that we have to realize is like who we really are, right? We are one with the divine. We are a divine soul having a human experience. So when we truly believe that and know that deep down, we are not vulnerable. Like, we don't need protection. Now, if it makes you feel better and if it makes you feel comforted to like invoke some protection for yourself, and you can do that, you can just visualize yourself completely surrounded by white light. You can call upon someone like Isis or Archangel Michael. I really like working with him a lot. You can call upon someone like that to protect you as you're opening yourself up to connect beyond the veil. So it's really what you're comfortable with. I mean, in my personal experience, I already feel very safe and protected. I honestly haven't had any experiences with dark energy. I really haven't. So, you know, it's really just about what's right for you. And if it makes you feel better to, you know, see yourself in white light, you can absolutely do that.
So everything is essentially divine, and there is no separation of dark or light forces, and all these things are part of one union. That's very well clearly explained. And there is nothing to scared about or fear about, and we are part of that thing only. Correct. And it's nice to, I have these Kali cards as well with me.
Oh, yes. There she is. Oh, that's great.
Oh, so nice.
Beautiful. It has been so wonderful being here with you all. Such a pleasure and an honor to connect with all of you. I'm just so grateful and humbled. So please feel free to reach out. And yes, thank you again so much, Veena and PyramidTimes. I'm so happy to be here.
And you can share your email ID or website where they can reach out. And so our email ID is pyramidtimes@gmail.com, and you can check out Purandev's Facebook page and website as well for her upcoming programs also. And if you are interested, this link will be available till tomorrow. Whoever is interested can go ahead and register. And if you want to write a mail regarding any questions you might have, you can definitely shoot out a mail to us. Do they have a very specialized way of helping us, or we can connect to any masters, any ascended masters?
I want to make sure I'm hearing you right, Veena. Are you asking if we have the ability to connect to any ascended masters?
No. Do we should we connect to very specific master, or we connected to any ascended master and get help? Are these ascended masters specialized in one particular thing, or they can help us in any which ways?
That's another great question. Yeah, I mean, I think that different ascended masters have different strengths and things that they offer, kind of like we do, you know. Like, I think Kali is great for calling on when you need to like overcome fear or slay those demons of your ego. And Isis is great for calling on when for healing, for confidence. Mother Mary is great for calling on when you want to open your heart. I mean, they all have a different essence and energy and thing that they offer. I think that as you continue working with them, you start to build that relationship with them. I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier, right? So you like start to co-create your relationship with them, and you start to know who I go to for this and who I go to for this. It's kind of like you have your friends, like your group of friends, and you know, like, okay, I go to this friend when I'm feeling upset, and I go to this friend when I, you know, when I want to go have some like coffee or something, you know. Yeah. So I think it's like this process of building your relationship with them. Like Archangel Michael, he's the one I go to when I want protection, you know. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. So having little bit of knowledge of what each of the masters offers will help us to connect in a very innate way to the questions we have or the challenges we are facing. Definitely, they should be able to take us through all these things. That's so amazing. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And also one more question: when we integrate all of the parts, does it require a protection? Doesn't it require a protection?
When we integrate like all of our darkness and our light, is that what the question is? When we integrate all our parts, one doesn't require protection. Okay, I think I understand. Yeah. I mean, I guess what I would say is, I don't know that, I think we're always in an ongoing process of integration and healing, a point where we're like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm done healing and I'm done integrating my shadow, because there's so many layers and there's always more. And I mean, even when we pass away, like my sister, you know, like she talks about in the book, like even when we pass away, there's still learning, there's still things that our souls are learning. But I think I understand what you're saying, is like when we get to a certain point in our spiritual evolution, we might not feel a need for protection as much, because we're really integrated and we feel really whole in ourselves. So I think we do get to that point. Yeah.
That's so amazing. So what is your message to us, Purandev? Any last message? And going through your book, I know you are an enlightened master and there is a lot to learn from you. So what is your final message for our audience?
You are so kind, Veena. My final message would just be, it's all divine love. And it's all one. I mean, it sounds so simple. But the thing is, it really is simple. You know, it's like our minds overcomplicate things. But really, we are one with these ascended masters. We are one with those we have lost. We are one with each other. We are one with the planet. We cannot separate ourselves from any of those things. And to me, that oneness is love. That oneness is love, and love is oneness. And I think at the end of the day, that's really all there is.
Yeah, it's so true. Many people feel they are alone, or they could be running away from their own selves. When they connect to this divine love, they know they have reached home. They experience it literally. Where have we been all this while? And this is the place I have to be. That's insightful. And yeah, thank you, Purandev, for this beautiful offering on our platform. And there is also an interview of Purandev on her book, Ali and Me. It's a very wonderful and very insightful interview, which is there on our channel. Please go ahead and watch this video.